as you would like. I promise you that the PDF version of this presentation will be available. You're missing the movies then, but at least you can read back. So this is about, I call it designing models. As a designer, you will always design models. You never do the real thing. You don't have an offset press. You're probably not a programmer. You're not building the house yourself, probably. So you're always dealing with models, something that is representing, it's a symbol for what's actually going to happen, but it's never the same thing. So, how about models? Now, a little bit table of content for this lecture. So let's design this lecture, and you'll see that designing the thing is sketching, is essentially being wrong guessing about the amount of details that you can afford. So I probably run over, and I'll warn you, and then we speed up and we lose details, and then you see how design processes work. So we're modeling this lecture. This is what we're doing right now. This is what we're going to talk about. And it will be about intuition, and intuition is a great thing. People say, I have a good feeling about it, and you'll see that it's totally rubbish, in that way. So what is intuition versus reasoning? Are you an artist? Are you a technician? Are you an engineer? Probably both, somewhere in between. We talk about that. What's the future? It's very much inside-out looking. And of course, the world is not waiting for designers. But on the other hand, if you're teaching, if you're working in an art school or teaching yourself or running a studio, you have a responsibility to educate designers that will have their profession 20 years from now. So what does that mean? What is that kind of responsibility? So what's the future of design? It doesn't mean that, well, if it turns out to be that design is no longer necessary in 20 years, then that be it. But probably that's true, but maybe not the same designers that we have right now. I was asked to do something about OpenType. It fits in fairly well, as you'll see. OpenType variations, as it was announced in the ATAPI 3 weeks ago by the big type guys. And what is design anyway? Everybody's talking about design. It's a noun, it's a verb. I'm a designer. I say, yeah, oh, big deal. What are you doing? Publishing typefaces. Veronica already showed something about that. This is and as long as we're not big guys, we are friends. This is just another way of doing it, and there's overlap and there's differences. And I'll talk a bit briefly about design education. And well, after this lecture, are you still there to be a designer? Hopefully yes, but you have to work for it. So, if this is your intuition, this thing there on the left, how can you trust it? Do you know what it's doing all the time? Do you know why it gives that answer? Well, this is a good poster, this is a good curve. Do you know why it says that? Or if you know it's that, how do you know that? It's because of experience or guessing, or you trust yourself? Or how do you know where that experience came from? You said, I did that before, and it turned out to be very good in the past, but is that still true today? You don't know that. Things that may have worked in the past may not be true anymore. And all these things can work in your head, have a very good feeling about this the way that design works, but you're in a studio, you're working with 4 other people, all with their own heads and their own intuitions. What do you talk about? What is your communication? And so things have to go into a shape where it's formalized. This is the way these are the kind of words that we use for this. If you're satisfied with your design, this is a really good design, I'm really satisfied. What is it you're satisfied with? Is it because your customer is satisfied, because you like it, or because it was finished on time? There are many reasons that you can be satisfied with a very lousy design. And how do you know that's a valid criterion in this case? And how relevant is it for the purpose of recreation? Maybe you say, oh, I like it very much, but if nobody else likes it, it's maybe a piece of art to put on your own wall, but not necessarily to send out in the world. So yes, intuition and taste and all these things are fantastic tools. They really give you a quick answer. You don't have to think about it, I like this. But they are also awfully wrong and distracting and annoying and confusing, like this thing on the background. So let's get rid of that. Let's try to, how can we create models that even if you disagree with them, at least we have something to talk about. Now, this was profession a while ago. You were a carpenter or a painter or in the arts. It wasn't even called that way. You had a skill, and you were trained in a workshop, not in a school, by a master. And any time you had acquired a certain set of tools, it probably worked for the whole rest of your life. That didn't change, or very, very slowly. That flipped around somewhere in the 1950s, when things became smaller and smaller and smaller and faster and faster and faster, and it influenced everything. So the silent and predictable as this was, the unpredictable has gotten. So everything that you can imagine, like if nowadays you'd say, this is a really nice little box I can hold to my ear and I can talk with anybody in the world and don't have to know where they are. You say, yeah, where have you been? But it was really an issue 20 years ago. And I remember that I read this science fiction book and it had this guy had a ring, and every knowledge of the world was inside that ring. That was fabulous. Can you imagine every knowledge? It's here, it's Google, oh, look it up. Yeah, it's here, I know. So that all happened in the past 5 to 10 years, 15, maybe 20 years. And it gets more condensed and condensed. Now, how do you extend that? It may not extend infinite, but you have to teach yourself, your children, design students to do something the rest of their lives. And then you get tools that change all the time. You read a book about CSS3, by the time you finished it already changed. So you don't read books anymore, you look online and you look again next week and then there's a new version. And you say, okay, I'll read that later. So this is happening, is interference. You say, oh no, I'll skip 2 versions of the iPhone, then I'm back on track again. I'll skip this version of the OS. Sometimes you have the choice, sometimes you don't. So somewhere around here, a guy called Moore, he predicted that everything would because of transistors, and we often design as well, who cares about transistors, but that's the thing that changed your life, and considerably, and it will change very much more. So Moore's law predicted that the number of transistors would double every year, and it still did. So it doubles speed and it doubles the amount of memory. The amount of memory in your iPhone is a magnitude more than they used to get the Apollo 13 to the moon. And we're not aware of that. Oh, let's do double the size, and then I can download all the movies I have. What does that mean for the future? And the future as in what is design like in 20 years, or even more personal, will you still be a designer in 20 years' time? And how do you project that? And it's even a conservative projection. My parents, my dad turned 90 last Monday, and he's still a graphic designer. He runs a design studio, makes a corporate magazine, with my mother, who's 86, who learned in design 10 years ago. So there's no retirement age as a designer. Maybe you get out of date, or you lose your customers. It's something else. But it's not about from now on I'm a retired graphic designer. I don't anybody who does that. So how do you fill this in? Well, things are happening there. I don't know when. I probably would live in the Bahamas if I could fill in any of these question marks. But they will happen. They're already happening somewhere. Morissara made a presentation in Poland about their use of AI algorithms to design new type. So is that a threat or is it a help? Now, there was a great application. There's a guy called Blaise Aquino. I'll talk.
Going on here
I'll finish.
we've been taking a lot of known x's and known y's and solving for the w in the middle through an iterative process. It's exactly the same way that we do our own learning. We have many, many images as babies, and we get told this is a bird, this is not a bird. And over time, through iteration, we solve for w, we solve for those neural connections. So now we've held x and w fixed to solve for y. That's everyday fast perception. We figured out how we can solve for w. That's learning, which is a lot harder because we need to do error minimization using a lot of training examples. And about a year ago, Alex Mortensen on our team, he decided to experiment with what happens if we try solving for x, given a known w and a known y. In other words, you know that it's a bird, and you already have your neural network that you trained on birds, but what is the picture of a bird? So it turns out that by using exactly the same error minimization procedure, one can do that with the network trained to recognize birds, and the result turns out to be a picture of birds. So this is a picture of birds generated entirely by a neural network that was trained to recognize birds, just by solving for x rather than solving for y, and doing that iteratively. Here's another fun example. This was a work made by Mike Tyka in our group, which he calls Animal Parade, and reminds me a little bit of William Kentridge's. You don't have to start with a blank canvas or with white noise. When you're solving for x, you can begin with an x that is itself already some other image. That's what this little demonstration is. This is a network that is designed to categorize all sorts of different objects, man-made structures, animals. And here we're starting with just a picture of clouds. And as we optimize, basically this network is figuring out what it sees in the clouds. And the more time you spend looking at this, the more things you also will see in the clouds. You can also use the face network to hallucinate this, and you get some pretty crazy stuff. Or Mike has done some other experiments in which he takes that cloud image, hallucinates, zooms, and in this way you can get a sort of fugue state of the network, I suppose, or a sort of free association in which the network is eating its own tail. So every image is now the basis for what do I think I see next, what do I think I see next, what do I think I see next. I showed this for the first time in public to a group at a lecture in Seattle called Higher Education. This was right after marijuana was legalized.
Okay, check him out. He's a really interesting guy. He worked at Microsoft, did a lot of interesting things there, and now he's at Google. The whole TED Talk is 18 minutes, but I encourage you to check it out. It's only the beginning. If you say, oh, but it's only images, don't do a typeface, don't do our pages, how do you know? Everything he's showing 10 years, 20 years ago, people said, that's never going to happen. Every time you said that's going to happen, it means not within 5 years. So, back to what is changing the future. OpenType variations do say they have all this another type. This is as landsliding as OpenType was in the beginning, or as Type 1 was at the beginning in 1985 in PostScript. And there is, and of course I can be wrong, but in my guess there will be a before introduction of variation fonts and after introduction of variation fonts. So even if you say it's not for me, how can you be sure that you say that to the right thing? So let's look into that. Variation fonts is influencing everything on type. It will be influencing the questions that customers will ask you. It will be influencing your design model, how you sell type, how you design with type, and it is different from multiple master. And I'll show you why that is, because that's the skepticism people have. By the way, this is Tosha Mugari's who made a Rubik's Cube out of that. not so much the variation font as well as Gerrit Nooitsijn, my teacher in The Hague, who made the first interpolating 2 or 3 dimensional axes. So let's have a look. This is what Multiple Master was. Adobe made a format where you say you have a light and a bold, and you have a narrow and a wide, and you interpolate between them. It was a great invention. It already was based on interpolation that was done by Goethe in Hamburg for quite some time. And they hoped that it would minimize the amount of fonts that you need, because you just draw the outlines of the extremes and the rest is automatically interpolated. It didn't work because it was difficult for people to understand. Customers didn't understand so much. But from a design point of view, there were some disadvantages, which was mostly because of this. If you start with 1 axis, you need 2 drawings for each letter. If you have 2 axes, it multiplies by 2, so you have 4 drawings. And with 3 axes, which is easily like width, weight, and size, you already have 8 masters to do, which is a lot of work. And the other disadvantage is that the one that you use most, which is in the middle, is the most distant from your drawings. So you're manipulating the drawings here, trying to figure out the best one in the middle. That's a long way off. And it's very hard. If you add specific characteristics to the bold, you don't want to echo that through the whole range until the light. And it's not really a system where you can easily make masters in between. It is this cube or even more corners. So what the combination of Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Adobe did, they started on that earlier this year, presented it in Poland. Iterative is a revival of an old format that Apple started about 20 years ago called GX, which was the answer to multiple master. So instead of that, you start out with the outside corners, you start with the middle one, the one that you know best, that you will use most often, and then you describe the way that it will change to the outside. So it's basically the total opposite of multiple master. So this is the way it was introduced. It was actually a really presentation to 4 companies together. They sat on the couch together. That by itself hasn't been seen before. So it's called OpenType 1.8, and what it says is that you have a typeface, a drawing of the middle, and you shift the points around in order to make a light and bold version. Doing that, you can have not only 1, 2, 3, 4 axes, but you can have until up to 65,000 or 10 to the 16th amount of axes. We have no idea what to do with that yet, but I guess there will be a designer someday who uses them all and is complaining that it's completely filled up. So this is how it's presented. Everything that you read online currently about variation fonts, they talk about how to interpolate from the inside out. The problem is a bit bigger, because it's not only addressing the outlines, but it's addressing everything else in the font. Kerning, hinting, and especially the feature set. But okay, I made an attempt to come up with some ideas about other axes. You can say, well, width, weight, and size. You see that everywhere, and that's how far the engineers could bend their creative mind in coming up with new solutions. But you can turn the other way around. What is it that you need as a typographer, or as a graphic designer, as a web designer? You have this column and have this text and you want to say fit this text in this column without actually doing disproportional, because it's the death crime of typography. So that you can ask the font, say, give me a little bit more dense version of yourself, and then if it exceeds 5%, then start hyphenation. So a question like that. Or you could say, well, give me better help with hyphenation. In Dutch, words in German, words can be very long. So if you're going to adjust the lines, you run into problems because you have only one or two workspaces. So good hyphenation in combination with a variation font that would slightly be able to make the type wider or more narrow, that would be good. Or compensate for contrasted background. You say, okay, this is on black background, so it's overexposing a bit, reduce it a bit. And it could even be intelligent. You could say, if text runs over a photo, then the system would know that now it runs over a dark area, so reduce the weight a little bit without changing the width, because you don't want reflow of the text. You could change the type depending on the time of the day. When it gets dark, it's a little bit, or it is very bold in the morning and it's very dense in the afternoon. The fact that we didn't think about it is because it wasn't there. Now it is there. What are we going to do? Of course, optical size masters. So the contrast thing is an issue that you want to address. The lower, the smaller the size, the lower the contrast should be. And that it has always been like that in hot metal. And now suddenly we have, since 1985, we have one model that fits all sizes. Animations. Let this type slowly gets bolder, or I want to have an animation emojis that are suddenly start to laugh at us. Is probably something coming out of variation fonts. You can also use it for internal structure. You can use the variation to use automatic small caps. With disproportional interpolation, you almost can get as close as the designer originally would have drawn it. Or relative weight. You say, I don't know what the size, what the width of the character is, or the weight of the character. Make it a little bit bolder, whatever it is. This is an example that Eric made last year. Typographic, Eric, my brother. This is an SVG font, so this is 3 variations, but it's very much showing the need that this kind of things should start happening. This is typeface published by Commercial Type that has weight changes without width change. So he totally separated the width from the weight, and you can, in 2 different axes, say, make this word bolder without making it wider. That's something that you may want. If you have a headline and it fits, and the headline, one word in the headline should get bold, you don't want to have it reflow. Another thing that we don't have to forget, and when I see type media students like working on it for a month on a particular kind of very original way that they end the serif, this is what happens with that. You're actually not drawing type. This is for type designers. They think they draw type. That's bullshit. You define coordinates, and the coordinates are painting pixels, nothing else. Even black and white typesetting machines are painting pixels. And you say, okay, if the resolution is high enough, I might still see it. But for a lot of things, which is rough guess, 99% of all text right now is online, it doesn't matter. Whatever you do, if it's 50%, if it's 49% grayscale, it doesn't care what the shape is there inside. It may change if you increase the point size, but for a certain point size, it doesn't really matter. So, what is the design challenges for variations? Well, in different from current implementations, you can say, okay, I'll override the bold with a certain version, or I'll make. There's a lot of hand adjustments still possible if you just making, as the designer or the type foundry themselves making the fonts. That's not the case anymore. Variation fonts is one font that includes everything, every style. It's sent to the browser, and the browser is doing the actual rendering. The browser makes a weight or any kind of axis that you've chosen. So all the glyphs need to be interpolated. That is quite a limitation. Variations also apply to kerning, hinting, and features. That's getting really difficult. It's not getting easier for the designers. It's not asking to make a nice shape. They ask you to make an industrial product that works in our environment, in our browser. So how can you afford not to know about it? Designers need to start thinking in n-dimensional spaces, not just 2 or 3 or 4, but maybe 6 or maybe 12. Can you envision a 12-dimensional space? I don't, but you will have to work on it. I have no idea what the business model will be, because now we charge for every font, and then you charge for one font, but not 10 times, maybe 1.5 times, maybe 2. And it will generate all the interpolations that you would ever had in mind already in the font. The user can do it himself. It's more work for a lower price. Now, I don't know how high prices already are and how much work it already is, but it gets worse. You have to explain to users that, well, variation is the new holy grail, but old fonts still work. If there's no need for a variation font, why bother? Although it's very fashionable. Find out what price is accepted by users. We have no idea. Tools are still in development, which will be the case for a while. And even if you would have a tool that generated complete, there are some tools that already, with font tools, generate some outlines, but the kerning and hinting features is still far off. And then you can wait for the applications to be inserted. Now, if you imagine that currently Word still did not implement all the features that was promised by the presentation of OpenType, it may take a while. So, okay, now we're talking about design. What is design anyway? Well, this is if you ask designers to write down what design is, they come something like this. Even not with the bottom part, because you're probably never satisfied. So it keeps on looping, and that's very interesting from the point of view of the designers, but this is what the customer thinks. Very, very nice that you're happy about being so confident about your own design, but we need it tomorrow. Is that possible? They say, well, I think I'll be happy with my design 2 weeks from now. What do you think? The customer said, don't bother. Just call us if you're happy, and we postpone everything. We cancel all the venue and redo the contracts with the musicians that you were working on. Probably not. They say, you know what? We do it ourselves. Thank you very much. That's fine, and they never call you back. So it's an interesting thing. I have this as an exercise for students. If they're both true, so what is the merge of the two? And the funny thing is that if you give that question to designers, they all come up with time below the good. It means that you start thinking about, do I still have time? If you're satisfied, which may be 20 years after the release date. Finding out that you're 20 years minus 1 day too late. So unfortunately for designers, time is above the good. No matter if you're satisfied or not, time is up. I'm sorry, this was the budget. So it's not a matter of can you do something that makes you satisfied as a designer. It's can you make something that is between okay and excellent within the time that you have. Because it's saying, well, I can easily run a marathon in about 2 weeks. But that's not a profession. You won't find any sponsors doing that for you. You have to end up somewhere between 2 hours 10 and 2 hours 25. You may find sponsors, and then for them everything else is a hobby. But it's worse because it's not only looping through, but any decision that you make, any rejection of your thing, it's something like this. And this is very conservative. This is 3 choices. This is like tic-tac-toe. Crosses and circles with 9 choices and 8 choices and 7 choices. Already tic-tac-toe, you know the game? It's already 2 million possibilities. So the angle of this in artificial intelligence and in programming is the measure for the complexity of the problem that you're solving. And it is often much, much more than this. Chess is 35 moves. Go, which was solved in the program a couple of weeks ago, beating the world champion, is 350 choices every time. And it really expands and expands. the only way you can deal with that is if you have an idea about this branch, not going into it. This is not worth. And you do that all the time, but you're not aware. You say, if you move a text half from the page so you can't read it anymore, you say, well, let's try another text. You know that's not, it will never solve that problem. The text is not reading because it's halfway cut off, no matter what the text is. So in your mind, you're doing these things all the time. Yesterday I made an example. I can go out, I can jump from the balcony. I have an example. I can jump from the balcony and I can wonder, can I do it head down first, or with my legs, or do I singing, but all the options is probably not a good idea, because jumping from the balcony at all is not a good idea. So you do this all the time as a designer. And the way that you do it is sketching. Because the sketching is not, hey, do you like this one? Your customer said, well, what do you mean this one? It is this kind of solution. So this is actually the top of the tree, the top of this iceberg of all the things that might be in this kind of idea. And so the way you go through it with the customer, say, well, how about this one? This is typically one sketch page for my book. And sometimes I do this with oh no, that's a later one. So you choose one and you say, how about this kind of solution? Not this solution, because it's kind of blurry and pixels, and I don't explain that this is a sketch. You often see students and they print color in InDesign, their first sketch, and say, oh no, it's just a sketch. So well, the fact that you have to explain that maybe is the wrong choice of a medium. So the next one is something similar. It is, but in a larger scale. So it means I take more time for one individual sketch to finish, but I don't have to do that much anymore. And I can add in more variations of the same. And you can add in, it can take 10 minutes to sketch the website from this. And sometimes do it as an exercise with students. Say, well, let's take a challenge. Who's designed the website first? And then so they open their bag, they open their laptop, they start up Illustrator, and they make a new document, and by that time I'm finished. And then they say, that's not fair, that's not a website. But InDesign is not a website either, so how do you compare that? You never make a website, you make something that an HTML, CSS, JavaScript programmer may eventually come up with a working website from your sketches. The same way, these are both scans from the sketchbook, but they are in totally different areas from the design process. If you start on the left, on the right, you're probably wrong, because it's mostly a technical description. On the left, if you end up here, your customer may not be satisfied at the end. So adjusting the amount of details in the sketching process is an important thing. You can do that by changing the scale of sketching. But our human beings as designers, the way that you get handle on this huge tree of choices is that you group them together. It's always 3. If it's less, you don't have any choices. If it's more than 8, it's very hard to explain to the customer why there should be, what's the difference between 13 and 14 sketches, because they start to be alike. The grouping, the things we can foresee, is something like 5, 6, 7, and then it ends. Apart from the 737 adjustment, which you see here, type is harder than actually building airplanes. It's not entirely fair, because this is wired and it's not Boeing, but okay. But if you think of designing type as an industrial process, which is getting more and more and more complex, and there are more people in it, it's quite an investment involved, and it has to fit all kinds of technical. Okay, people won't die because of that 737, but it still hurts my eyes. Now this is a good thing.
Once that shell enters the factory, James 1 through 3 are really
make a change to typefaces.
It's like building a house.
It's not a piece of art.
Engineers install the plumbing and electrics and the insulation. On the 4th day, the tube becomes a plane. The wings go on, along with the vertical fin or tail. Workers align them with laser guidance. This is when they fit the landing gear too. Day 5 is for the horizontal stabilizer install and the start of functional tests. Engineers are putting wiring in now for flight control and finishing the internal floorboards. They start building the interiors up, the galleys and the bathrooms. Then, on day 6, the plane comes alive. That flashing red light means there's power to the airplane.
Now imagine that being typeface. Everything has to be there exactly at the right moment, in the right conditions, in the right quality, with the specifications of the people who are going to make that happen, make that together at that very second. If they wait for another hour, it screws up the whole planning. Now think about the designer, and especially emphasizing the word designer, the designer who made this whole system work. So not even the airplane. It is doing something with 25,000 people and make something in 9 days that actually flies. Now try that with the typeface. So it's this discussion that people who call themselves artists and they really like to say, oh, I'm an artist. But they're actually in production work. So it is something in between there. It's a balance. On one part you're initially totally free. You can do whatever you want. You're expected to do new stuff. And on the other hand, you have to do things that fit requirements, that fits into standards that actually work. You cannot say, yeah, but it's a good feeling about it. So if you measure that, art is somewhere in between. Well, it's actually, art is everything in between. Oh, sorry, design is in between. Design is it's everything in between. So 100% art is, I have no connection to the world. 100% production means I have no way that I can ever change this. This is the way you're going to do it. And I know exactly, like building an airplane, constructing it, not designing it, constructing it. So they're interesting words, you can connect them. Because art is always about unique things. This one painting, it's not a copy of the painting, it is the one painting and nothing else. Where if you go to an Apple store and you say, let's find out which laptop is best. Can you open all the boxes and I'll test them? And no, it's not going to work because you're supposed to be identical. Not on a microscopic level, but you still assume that within the limits that I'm going to use it, they are totally identical. That's what you expect the delivery of your products to be. Design is everything in between. It's the kind of stuff. This is a group of things that kind of work in this way, but not entirely yet. So art design, production design. There is emotion and meaning somewhere at the top. You need it, but not entirely. If just emotion and nothing else, it's a piece of art. If it's just efficiency, it is very efficient, but it's probably nothing new. Now, where are you as a designer? Where is your project right now? Where is the stage of a certain project in? That may differ. You can design the process. I've shown this picture at my keynote speech at Iterative in Amsterdam 3 years ago, and it was about what's next. And we need a next as designers because all these big guys there, they take your revenue. They pay you little or nothing, or they force you to earn very little. So what do we do about it? And we have been working on that ever since with Font Bureau and my partners, Dave Burlow, Roger was here, and Sam Burlow, to make a new environment for designers that's actually doing fair things with the designers. It's independent, it's control. You control your own resources. You have nobody telling you that you should have a discount this week if you don't want to. You have full capability of the tools and knowledge that's already there that people have developed for you, and you don't have to invest in the web shop. So, a little bit of advertisement time. Exclusive partnership. It's a shared marketplace, and the country defines the pricing and not the shop. And there's a lot of experience to tap in. So there's marketing, there is extended function in the catalog, and you have your own identity. So you're not part of a list somewhere down there. People may or may not find your name, but you have this this identity within the environment of the website. The foundry owns, so you have total control on the CMS. If you want to publish things, when or how, or you want to write about it, you can totally do that. There is, it's a community. It is, and of course there's mild competition. It is like there's a square in the middle of the city, and you start. There are 10 restaurants and 10 bars starting there. They're in competition, but they will never be in competition if one would go somewhere in an industrial place where the only restaurant, nobody goes there. So the fact that people know that, oh, I can eat there, and then let's figure out where actually go. You're in mild competition. People already come there, and you're in competition with the neighbors, but you have a shared interest, but in our opinions, larger than the competitive aspect. Important part, the problem with this tooling stuff, with making the airplane actually take off, is that there's a lot of things already done that you can use, proofing, design methods and tools and production tools. So briefly go through. You see, people have their own colors, they have their own banners, and they publish. And there is the catalog, and there is a article about my new typeface, which is not yet there, and as always, very difficult to get it finished. But it started as a joke. What is the smallest bitmap font that you can make? It's 5x7, but you have to do quite some stuff in the contrast building. And once you do that, then you can have all kind of fun. So this started with the 200 something glyphs. It ended with 2,500 glyphs in 600 different fonts, and it will soon be in the Typographic catalog. And you can order all the other stuff, but I have to apologize for very bad sushi. Okay. There's a lot more. Brief example of tools. What you want to know is this companion, the program that runs in the back. That works more or less like an auto hinter, and it tells you everything that you're doing. This measure is different from here. This measure. And it said, I think this is the stem. And you say, no, this is the stem. So it is. It's not a hinter, it is something that you add information as a designer that you already know about your design, so you can avoid it, that later a program has to do a lot of auto-guessing. Then another thing where you say, I know already what kind of curve I want, I don't want to move that around with off-curve points, I just want to select the kind of curve that I want to have. You see a lot of tools coming in the hands of the designers, but the way we emphasize on this in Type Network is that it should not only be designers, it should be the whole production line that gets, for instance, get changed into variations. Okay, so back to education. How do you teach people to do this? I'm teaching at two schools. One's at Type Media in The Hague. It's a one-year master, totally dedicated to type design. The skills of type design. So the difference between Type Media and Reading is that Reading it's a 2 years master, but it's on the university level, so they have time for doing a lot of research, and with a reduced amount of type design. And in The Hague, it's the reverse. The research is dedicated to a particular project, but not like let's finding out how they have been publishing chess games in newspapers in the past 200 years or something like that. So this is a brief, they're online, this is a randomly chosen year. Teachers are there, they come in our studio 12 days a year, evenings, and we talk about everything else but design, or about type design. Everything else but type design. And this is the other school I'm doing. It's actually not school, this is beyond, but we do the same thing there. Very basic. What is the basic set of elements that you use as a designer? So how large should a circle be so everybody agrees it is about the same size as the square. That's a trick question, so half of them do it wrong the first day because they make them both, as you can see this one, they make them both equal size, which is wrong. We also talk about how to judge that, because it's not my opinion as a teacher, it is how do we judge it as a group. Or as things of model building. If you say, you show a picture like this to someone and say, can you reproduce it next year? How close would they get without you? And you'll only, by the way, you've only 10 seconds just to watch it. So can you reproduce it? Or could you reproduce this one? And maybe easier, but it takes a little bit more time to find out what the rule is. What is the rule here?
Size.
Size, yeah. So what's the rule here? There's no rule. So this is random kind of objects. The same objects here, order them by, once you understand it's by height, it's okay. I don't have to explain this one. It's obvious. So color is more dominant than height. Well, that kind of exercise. You can have an infinite amount of exercise with students, and then they find out they're masters. They're graphic designers who work in a graphic design studio. They have a bachelor degree, and then they find out that they know nothing. Well, that's hard. That's hard. But that's not what I say. That's what they say. So, I thought I knew this. I know. Another one, like, okay, how you get fooled? You know this kind of stuff. So what's the color of A and B? And then you find out color of B is the same color. Getting fooled, having your eyes fooled, that's nice in a children's book, but as a designer you're on the other line, you're on the other side of the line. You have to create this stuff in order to adjust what people see, or to miscommunicate, or to communicate deliberately, not by chance. Another one, so they don't get an assignment to make a poster, but they get an assignment which is very difficult. You have to make a poster, so there's a little bit of research. You have to find 7 different types of food that are related. So it could be 7 different kinds of bread or cheese or wine or whatever. And you have to choose them, so they are different, but they are in the same group. And they are different in the same kind of way, because otherwise you get 2 groups. They should be evenly out being in the same group and 7 different kinds of food. You have a budget, it runs for 8 weeks. You have to make planning, and you have to estimate your hourly rate. And you're only allowed to work that amount of time. So you have to make a bookkeeping, and if they say, I'm clever, so I put myself on 20 euros, I can take a long time to make the poster. That's fine with me, but you have to hire a programmer, you have to hire a photographer and illustrator, you pay the photographer and illustrator the other side of 100 euros. So if you put yourself on 20, you have to pay 80 and 10% for real. Which is, if you have a photographer friend student working for you for a day to make photos, it will cost you 80 euros. It's a lot. Or it's 64. So it's 80 euros times 8 times 10%, 64 euros. So it's really money for students. So pick your own hourly rate well. Getting them into attention setting. You want them, it's not easy, they cannot do this by routine. Another example, which I don't have here's some examples that come out. They're not necessarily the greatest posters, but the same way that it's not necessarily the greatest airplane, but they work. They could do it within the budget, they had it all set up as was asked. Another example is they have to make a corporate identity, and they all can do that. They've done that for years sometimes. But you say, oh, by the way, there's one detail. The kind of logos you choose should be so that there is a necessity to change it if you use a diapositive. So what do you mean? If you use a diapositive, it means that it should be a face. I'm not going to tell them, they have to figure out if there's a face in it, or a shadow, or something that doesn't work in the reverse, you have to make a new shape. Otherwise, you know that probably the ING lion logo, it has a different drawing when it's orange on white, or it's white on orange. It always has white face with orange eyes. Nobody notices until it goes wrong. Okay. So this was a brief list of what. Imagine that we. I don't think there are really good typographers right now. That's a bold thing, but what I see from education, so they make nice posters, or they do experiments with type, which then on purpose you cannot read anymore. But really good typographers who get a job and get it done and get it. People say, looks like real good reading, or they're not even aware of it. If you make that list, something like this, it's a lot. I don't know. Do you know students? Do you know people who do that? So it's models. You have to go back. So what can we do? It's about a model about intuition. This is what I feel. I really have a good feeling about it. My taste is excellent. Or professional optimism. I think we can do this. You know it's not true, but your customer wants to hear that. Or Scrum. Let's do something we can predict for a week, and then let's do that. So models work because they are kind of subsets of the world. You can pretend that they are working. Now, this is the kind of job you do. You can fill in other words, could be architecture, could be type design, more, but the words are there. You have this job, starting here, starting there. And by the way, can you put a cost in the planning before you start? Because otherwise you're not part of the pitch. So you have to predict a cost planning or a budget or an estimate is a small scale model of the whole project. So what we're going to do, this will take an amount. Okay, 20,000. And then you have to say, we know exactly what we're going to do, but we are totally creative. And the result of that is that kind of proposals look like this. Very, very confident. You say, okay, 6 weeks, 6 months, doesn't matter. You see the same model works in every amount. This will be the point like this. This will be a research phase that we have after 1 week or 1 month or whatever. Then we have the first sketching phase, the second sketching phase, the intermediate evaluation, then we start with the presentation and the final presentation. How about that? The customer said, that sounds very, they know what they're doing. Well, and I'll predict what happens. This is what reality is. This always happens. You say, oh shit, that's how we are working. Including me. You know when this presentation was made? Last night. So the big ideas are here. And yeah, sorry, we're running out of time. We can not do anything on it. Then our students, okay, that's always the case. How do you solve this? Because it doesn't matter. If it's 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, last night you're working through. It's like, okay, I'm running for a marathon, but I'm kind of lazy, so I do really my best on the Olympics. It's not going to work. Because you have to know what happens there. You have to go through every aspect of that race. So the only way that works, and I'll explain how that works, it doesn't explain postponing the deadline. That's kind of fixed budgets up. So the only way of doing it, if this is arbitrary 6 weeks or 6 months, why not do it in 6 hours? Or 1 hour, or 3 days, or whatever. If you, and then expand that. And expand that. And every time you have a final result, you can show the whole thing. Now imagine that you have a house being built by an architect. You say, okay, here's the kitchen. If you go back to 2 weeks, we have the kitchen done. There's no sketch. You just starting to build a kitchen in real size. And they say, yeah, let's turn it at 90 degrees for the sun. You say, oh, no matter, no problem. So tear it all down and build it up again. You don't want that kind of architect. You don't want designers that show designs in InDesign. InDesign is a production tool. It's not a design tool, not at all. Photoshop, not a design tool. Illustrator is not a design tool. It's not made for you. It's made for printers. We don't have anything better. So why not do it in an hour? And then you can say this. Now let's say you're how confident would your customer be? He said, no, I only can do this if I have 6 weeks. Before that, I cannot show anything to you. If you cannot do something sensible, something that makes an addition to the idea about your design in 1 hour, how can you expect that it will be better in half a year? I don't know. So, sorry, I'll come back to it. This is so graduate students, they get 2.5 months and they have to do the graduation. For 1 month they think about a topic, which is not important at all, it doesn't get judged ever, and still they think that the topic is really, really important. And to get them out of that loop, who cares what the subject is? They should be able to do anything. So I said, okay, you start on your graduation today, you have 1 hour to make a final presentation, which is this. So what you see, the height of the carver is 10 centimeters. So this is put your iPhone on a block of wood or in a box and you run it through and you can use it actually as a presentation. People say, oh, it looks like real. And her topic was twins. And then people say, well, where's the twin thing here? It's just boards holding up your designs. Why don't you mirror the design, or your exhibition, or do the whole exhibition twice, or whatever kind of thing that came from this model, which took her in all 1 hour. But she used InDesign to make the color pictures, but it was only 10 minutes. It's on the table, you see how big the guys are there. This is design class. So it's playing with your time, it's playing with things. So this is a game we did on the school with our kids. Children are baking cakes and pies for a school in Mali. And we said, well, let's do something else. So we made a Mali map, 10 by 10 meters, with 10 centimeters square, and they had to buy stuff. So they had to buy tools and knowledge and personnel, and then they could make a project, and also the materials to make the model. They make a project that would sustain in the next round. And then they found out, hey, you know what? We can do a project here too because we already have this personnel, we already have the water, very clever. So finally, if you coordinate it a little bit, you can, with the same resources, do a lot more projects. And they said, okay. And they said, we won. We did most of the projects. So well, let's go back. So where did you develop? You developed where everybody else developed. The cities, the easy parts. How about people here? I say, yeah, it's very expensive if you want to build something there. I say, well, that's the whole point. Why you do developing work for the people who are suffering most. You can have. So they handed that over to the economics and geography teachers. That life is not that simple. You mentioned 12, 13 years old kids said, it's difficult. So, and the other side, this is a presentation, a game we made with the board of directors of the Rotterdam Harbour. Let's play the next 20 years of the harbour. And it's tough because you have only 1 hour, you cannot redo it. It has to be interesting enough that they stay away from their cell phones. Something has to come out of that. And you cannot rehearse. So it's a design game. So what's the design process of designing design games? How do you sketch that? This design game tomorrow, this is the version in The Hague. If you subscribed, be welcome. I think it's overbooked right now. Customers, designers who have no clue how to communicate with the customer, and they have 1 hour to make a design. And they are really judged at the end who won. Interesting thing is that you see how easy it is for customers to develop a customer attitude. And their psychology studies do that. It's every time you do that, put someone in a role, they take that role. And please go away. This is not. No, this is not really what you want. No. And there's the studio here on the left. So what's happening there? We thought it was okay. Okay, you'll find out. Here's another one. This was in June in Otis, LA. I think tomorrow is the 6th design game we do this year. It's still fun. It's always different. I won't explain it to you, but this is really fun. The funny thing is that if you say, well, what are they doing? But if you ask people when they did a design game, how proud they are of what they did, it's an amazing difference. Okay, some other work. This is a 25-year anniversary poster we did with all the work that we did in 25 years. Yes, so you can only do it with the program. Recursion is here because the same, if you run it several times, then you make a new poster, so it becomes part of the archive, so it shows up in the next one. Okay, but this is okay. So final some questions. If you want homework, this is your homework. If your design succeeded, you say we did a great job. What is it that succeeded? It's kind of the same question I asked before. And if you ask students, say because I like it. Say well, how about this one? It's a piece of art. You put it in a museum. This looks like a car. It's made from cardboard and clay and metal scrap, and it looks like a car. It's really, really interesting. It's not a car, but it looks like it. So it's more like a social message or whatever you want to do with that. It's not a car. So why did it succeed? What was successful? And could you do it again? Was it like a shot? You have no idea what happened. You see that tomorrow in the design game. The studio is a great hit. They took all the points in one round. They have no idea why they did that. So second round, they down to 0 because they could not. It's like this band that had this top hit 15 years ago and never were able to make something ever close to that, and they had no idea why they did. So could you do it again? It's not a lucky shot. Let's try if this photo works. If you try with photo works, that's what your aunt is doing when she goes on holiday. Well, this photo is better than that photo. I have no idea why. If you want to make photographs of ice, you go as food. It's very, very, very complex. If you go to a photographer who can do that very well, and they say, well, I might be lucky to get it somewhere between good and excellent, but I know how to do this. It's not like, okay, they totally fail, or a marathon runner would say, I have a good day. It means that he or she can run it in 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 30 seconds instead of 40 seconds. Because just the wind was right and had good food, and it's not like, let's try somewhere between 7 hours and 2 hours. That's not the kind of thing that you can sponsorship with. So could you do it again? Can you repeat what you did? And is that still true? Because maybe you can repeat it now, but can you repeat it next week when the world tour totally changed? After variations came out. Do you dare? Do you dare to ask the right questions? Say, am I a designer at all? Or am I doing the right thing? Or I've been working on this project for 6 months now. Do you dare to stop it? Because it's not going anywhere. That's daring. It is throwing away you're killing your darlings. And you can actually develop skills to kill your darlings. So that by itself is a design process. Do you dare to train and invest and you have no idea if you'll ever be successful? If you're, that's the hardest thing, I think, in my opinion, to teach students to be entrepreneurs. If someone is doing something because you tell them to do it, it's close to production work. If people say, yeah, you told me to do that, but then it did this way, it was much better. Those are the people who start baking pancakes at 7 o'clock in the morning to attract people. They know they will throw away everything for the first 2 hours, but you get people in your restaurant instead of waiting for people to show up and then light your oven. So even if it seems like a waste of time, professional opportunism, I think this is going to work, it's not true, but still you try. Do you dare to view long term, like investing in education? I go for 2 years abroad, so the fact that students turn up from China and from all over the world in Breda, by itself is a proof of entrepreneurship because they have made the change, which costs them a lot of energy and money, and they're missing their beloved and their families for 2 years. Do you allow yourself to aim for the impossible or the infinite? Even if you know it's not true, but well, let's get halfway. How about that? And learn to appreciate failure. It's not here, but you should look up the interview with Milton Glaser. It's called Fear of Failure. It's an adorable interview where he says you should embrace failure. It is really, it's the only way that you can learn. Allowing yourselves to, not failing at the end, but failing after an hour, after 2 hours, after a day. You can throw everything away and start over. Failing is the only essential part of learning. So some hints. If you have a customer that they don't have that much money, then give them discount. Don't lower your hourly rate. You can never get it up again. It's much easier to say, you know what, I spend 100 hours for you and you only have to pay 20 for my hourly rate, then say, I lower my hourly rate and then you pay for the full 100 hours. You never get that back up. If you discount yourself and say, I'm this good, but I'm actually this good, it's very hard to tell you. Well, you have to go to another customer and you have to tell a new story and make sure that they never talk to each other to get an increase of your hourly rate, maybe a couple of euros, but not double, not triple, not quadruple in a year. But if you say, I give you 8,000 euros for this job because I only charge 2, and sometimes we did that. We made the corporate identity for several years for a theater festival in Delft, which is where our studio is, so between Rotterdam and The Hague. And they had no money at all. So we said 14,000 euros minus 14,000 euros equals 0. And they can never complain. We said, you send us an invoice? They say, sure, but I also send you a subsidy for the same amount, so it's 0 at the end. You should not complain about it. You can see how much time they spend. If you say, I'm free, they come with whatever kind of bullshit they want us to do. And you can never say no. So it's better giving them hours for free than doing it for a lower price. There's another trick. So you tell your customers to pick 3 of these out of 4, and you tell them what the other one is. Because customers normally want to tell all 4 of them. That doesn't work. So you say, I want to have a really good, I have only 100 euros, and the delivery time should be next week, then I can decide I can make 2 pages for that. Or you say, I have 1,000 pages, should be the best you ever did, I have 100 euros, sure, then next year or so, if I find 10 minutes every Friday, I can work on that. If you allow your customers to say all 4 of them, you give them leverage never to pay anything. Okay. No cure pay, that's another one. I said, no, that's wrong. It's no cure, no pay. You only pay if you're satisfied. You say, well, and so I work for you for half a year, and the last day you say, no, it's not that good. I won't pay you. That's no cure, no pay thing. And then they still use it. You're out of control. So we tell them, it's no cure pay. You only have to pay us if you don't use our design. I said, that's strange, you never heard that. I said, well, let's try. So you can't do this infinite, but if you graduate and you want to have some jobs, and you have some things in your portfolio. So if you print this book, I won't charge you. If you don't print it at the end, I will charge you the full amount of hours. Your choice. So it becomes the co-responsibility of your customer to make this happen. And you cannot say at the end, well, let's not do it, because the customer is totally in control, and you want to have the shared control. You want to have leverage on both sides. And the customer said, I never heard about that. And so, here's something to talk about. So, well, this is a very interesting thing. How about it? Don't ever tell your customer that you're short of work. Say, no, well, maybe I want to work for you, I know. And then you're desperate, but you're not going to tell them. Because if you say, you make yourself valuable. Say, well, there are 10 others asking for this. Or You need to be paid for solving their problems, not the other way around. So dare to design, dare to be different, dare to invest for something where you can be a designer 20 years from now, which is no clue what the world will be about. It's already difficult to predict 2 years from now. So when people start their education and when they end their education, the world is totally changed. So what are they educated for? So choose your schools well, choose your discussion with your teachers well. Say, why do you give me this answer? Why is it that you want me to do as a future perspective? Can you, as a teacher, explain to me in what way it will help me to learn myself to cope with the world that is 20 years from now? Thank you very much.